What do they know?
After joining the police force, Serpico's first experience with the corrupt ways of New York's police department was shocking. Instead of expecting integrity, he encountered a system deeply involved in illegal activities, bribery, and favoritism. Initially, he tried to blend in, but he soon realized that corruption was widespread and accepted. Officers would demand bribes from citizens and protect criminals in exchange for money. When Serpico refused to participate, he faced hostility, threats, and social isolation from colleagues who wanted him to stay silent. His dedication to doing what was right put him in danger, and he began to see how deeply dishonest the department had become. This exposure marked the beginning of his long battle against corruption, which would eventually make him a symbol of courage and integrity in law enforcement. Despite the risks, Serpico maintained his stance, determined to bring reform to the police force and unmask the truth behind its corrupt practices.
You know, Mr. Commissioner, a gold shield for Serpico at this time would convince an awful lot of people.
In the film Serpico, Al Pacino delivers a powerful performance as a dedicated police officer named Frank Serpico. The story follows Serpico as he tries to uncover and expose corruption within the police department. Despite facing many dangers and resistance from fellow officers, Serpico remains committed to fighting dishonesty and unfair practices. His efforts to reveal the truth come with great risks, and he pays a heavy price for standing up against corruption. The movie was filmed and released at a time when Pacino had already gained fame for his role in the original Godfather film. The release of Serpico came between the first and second parts of the Godfather trilogy, which helped shape Pacino as a well-known actor. The movie was highly praised, and Pacino's portrayal of Serpico earned him his second Oscar nomination. He would go on to receive a total of 8 Oscar nominations during his career. The film's realistic style, intense story, and Pacino's compelling acting made it a significant part of his career and a memorable film for audiences. Serpico is recognized for shedding light on issues of police corruption and the personal courage needed to face such problems, making it a timeless story. Pacino's performance as Serpico remains one of his most notable roles, capturing the heroism, struggles, and moral dilemmas faced by a man who dares to stand alone against a corrupt system.
That call and all, the guys were getting a little worried. I told them you were okay. I knew you from the old 2-1.
Soon after reading the initial pages of Peter Moss's biography, which focused mainly on the early life and character of Frank Serpico, Dino De Laurentiis became so captivated by the story that he decided to acquire the film rights. Despite only having read about 20 pages out of the original manuscript, De Laurentiis recognized the potential for a compelling film centered around Serpico's experiences. The biography highlighted Serpico's struggles as a New York City police officer who confronted corruption within the police force, a story that instantly drew De Laurentiis' attention. Motivated by the compelling concept and the promise of a gripping story, he made a bold move by paying close to $500,000 to secure the rights. This was a significant investment at the time, showing how much De Laurentiis believed in the story's potential to become a powerful and impactful movie. The decision to buy the rights marked the beginning of the film's development process and set the stage for how the story of Serpico would eventually be brought to the big screen. Producers and filmmakers saw this as an opportunity to create a film that could inspire and inform audiences about integrity, bravery, and the fight against corruption within law enforcement.
Hey, Paul. Yo, 8 o'clock, let's go.
Things might have been quite different for the 1973 movie Serpico, as originally Paul Newman and Robert Redford were considered for the lead roles, with director Sam Peckinpah at the helm. Peckinpah, known for his work on The Wild Bunch, initially had the first opportunity to direct the film. The screenplay was originally offered to Greg Dunn, who, however, didn't think there was much of a story to tell from the original book. At one point, there was an idea that Paul Newman would portray NYPD Detective David Dirk, while Robert Redford would play the iconic role of Frank Serpico. Director Sam Peckinpah and Paul Newman even had a dinner meeting to discuss the project. However, during that dinner, Peckinpah revealed that he had met with Redford and had a poor impression of him, leading to a strained relationship between the director and the actor. This negative interaction ultimately resulted in Peckinpah stepping away from the project. The casting of Newman and Redford in these central roles never materialized, and this shift brought about a significant change in the direction of the film. As a result, the movie ultimately found a different creative path, and Sidney Lumet came on board to direct instead. The actors involved also changed, with Al Pacino being cast in the role of Serpico, which became one of the defining performances of his career. While the casting of Newman and Redford might have created a very different dynamic, the final film still achieved success, and has remained a classic in cinema history.
Before it's all over, I'll find you face down in the East River.
Because of the importance of authenticity in the film Serpico, Pacino wanted to understand the real Frank Serpico and build a genuine connection with him. Therefore, before filming began, Pacino invited Serpico to his house to spend some time together and get to know each other better. They shared conversations and seemed to develop a mutual respect. Even though they enjoyed this time, Pacino also wanted Serpico to be involved in the process. Serpico, who recently retired from the police force, attended script conferences and offered suggestions, believing that his insights could help make the story more accurate and real. However, the film crew and Pacino started to worry that Serpico's presence might distract the cast and crew during filming. They thought having him on set could cause disturbances or draw too much attention away from the actors and the story being told. Soon, it was decided that Serpico should stay away from the set during filming, which deeply hurt him. When he found out he was not allowed to be there, the disappointment and feelings of being excluded overwhelmed him, especially because he had hoped to stay connected to the film and see it come to life. Despite this, Pacino maintained a respectful attitude, but the situation marked a difficult moment for the real Serpico. This interaction between Pacino and Serpico highlights the complex relationship between real life and filmmaking, where efforts to stay true to the story sometimes clash with practical requirements of production. It also shows how honest intentions can be affected by the need for focus and discipline during the filming process. Believing that Serpico's presence could have added something special to the movie, Pacino and the crew made the tough decision to keep him away, which left Serpico feeling hurt and somewhat alienated from the project he was so passionate about. The story of their interaction remains a significant part of the film's history, illustrating the delicate balance between authenticity and the demands of the filmmaking process. Because of the unique filming process, the whole movie was shot in reverse order, which means scenes were filmed starting with the ending and working toward the beginning. This approach was chosen because the character Serpico, played by Al Pacino, needed to develop a thick beard and long hair as the story progressed. To keep this change realistic, Pacino's hair and beard were trimmed before each scene, right after the 4th of July, which made it easier to show his appearance evolving naturally from a clean-shaven man to someone with a full beard. Since the film was shot in winter scenes, the crew had to find ways to make it look cold and snowy even if the weather was warm. They had to simulate visible breath coming from the actors and create the look of defoliated trees, which looked like it was deep winter. The movie features a total of 107 speaking parts, involving many different characters, making the filming quite complex. It was shot in 104 different locations across New York City, but they did not use Staten Island. The director intentionally avoided casting many well-known actors, aiming instead to keep the film more realistic and grounded. This extensive effort to shoot in various boroughs and manage the appearance of different seasons shows how much care went into making the story believable and authentic.
Oh, here they are.
Frankie, how you doing?
Okay, good job.
Because the film Serpico shows some differences from the real events, it's interesting to note what those are. In the movie, Al Pacino's character, Serpico, is seen carrying a revolver, but in real life, Serpico carried a 9mm automatic pistol. This change might have been made to make the character more dramatic or to fit the film's style. Additionally, the movie depicts Serpico living on Perry Street, but in reality, he actually lived on Minetta Street. This difference could have been for filming convenience or storytelling reasons. The film also shows Serpico as having a modest wardrobe, yet the real Serpico claimed that his wardrobe was much better than that of the character played by Pacino in the movie. Furthermore, the film does not emphasize that Serpico was married 3 times, a fact that was important in understanding his personal life. These differences highlight how movies often alter some details to create a more compelling story or to fit the narrative better. Despite these changes, the movie captures the essence of Serpico's fight against corruption and his bravery, but knowing the differences can give a fuller understanding of the real man's life and the events that inspired the film.
I'm not on. I don't take money.
Some gag here.
No, I told you straight.
Initially, the production of the 1973 film Serpico benefited greatly from the cooperation of the New York City Police Department. The department allowed the filmmakers to shoot scenes inside 4 fully operational station houses, which contributed to the film's realistic portrayal of police life. There were no issues or obstacles during the filming process at these locations, making it easier for the crew to capture authentic footage. The 2 police officers who were assigned directly to the project played an active role in helping with the production. Once they understood that the filmmakers aimed for authenticity, they willingly provided assistance and expertise to ensure that the film accurately depicted police procedures and environment. However, Al Pacino, who played the main character, did not rely heavily on these officers for help. He showed little interest in seeking guidance or further assistance from them. In fact, there was an incident where Pacino went out one night with some police officers, but that experience was very brief. After just about 5 minutes, he decided to end the outing and did not pursue further collaboration with them. Despite Pacino's minimal involvement, the cooperation from the police department and the officers contributed significantly to the movie's realistic feel. Their support helped to create a film that reflected the genuine atmosphere of New York City police stations and the challenges faced by officers like Serpico. The overall partnership between the filmmakers and the police department was smooth and effective, aiding in delivering an authentic story that resonated with audiences and showcased the gritty reality of law enforcement during that era.
They want you to appear.
Naturally.
Firstly, Al Pacino's approach to acting in the movie Serpico was deeply immersive and intense, reflecting his dedication to method acting. He believed that to truly embody his character, he needed to live and breathe Serpico's experiences, emotions, and mindset during filming. At one point, Pacino's intense immersion became so profound that he actually tried to arrest someone, almost as if he were a real police officer rather than an actor. He carried his emotions with him off camera, staying in the state of either happiness or anger depending on the scene, which showed his commitment to authentic performance, but also blurred the lines between actor and character. While filming, there was a moment when Pacino grew so incensed about a truck blowing its exhaust into his face that he lost his temper. He shouted at the truck driver to pull over, claiming he was under arrest, which was a clear sign of how deeply he had immersed himself into his role. His passion was evident, as he even pulled out his fake Serpico badge, jokingly telling the driver he was going to put him under citizen's arrest. However, as soon as he realized how ridiculous his behavior was, he recognized that his method had gone too far. This moment marked a turning point where Pacino understood that toughness and authenticity should never cross the line into absurdity or disrespect. It highlighted both the power and potential excesses of method acting. His dedication to his craft not only contributed to the film's success, but also left a lasting impact on acting methods by showing how deeply an actor can become involved in their role. This incident remains a vivid example of the lengths Pacino was willing to go to achieve genuine performance, illustrating both the strength and the boundaries of intense method acting.
And everybody in this room can go to hell because I'm not testifying.
Now wait, just listen. Wait. Just.
Because the filming of Serpico was such a demanding experience, the director, Sidney Lumet, became completely exhausted by the end of the shoot. Starting in July, the filmmakers had a tight schedule to complete the movie in time for its Christmas release. Lumet has mentioned that he had an insanely short amount of time to shoot the film, which put a lot of pressure on everyone involved. The intense filming schedule was more exhausting for him than any other movie he has directed before. Despite the challenges, the team worked diligently to finish the film quickly. Surprisingly, because of the fast pace, and perhaps their determination, the movie ended up debuting even earlier than they originally planned, opening on December 5, 1973. This early release was a testament to how much effort they put into completing the film on time, even under extreme stress. The tight schedule and hard work meant that Lumet was more worn out than usual, but their dedication paid off, and the film was ready for audiences just in time for the holiday season. The rush to finish the movie was a significant part of its production story, showing how demanding and urgent the process was. Lumet's exhaustion reflects how demanding the filming process was from start to finish, and it highlights the remarkable effort behind making Serpico a reality.
Be his eyes and his ears. He said he was delighted that, quote, a man of integrity had served.
Since the movie Serpico was released in 1973, It has become a well-known crime drama film based on the real-life story of Frank Serpico, a brave New York City police officer who exposed corruption within the police department. The film stars Al Pacino as Serpico, capturing his relentless fight for honesty and justice in a corrupt system. Over the years, the film gained critical acclaim and became a classic, highlighting issues of police misconduct and the courage needed to stand up against powerful institutions. Despite its popularity, Serpico himself did not watch the movie in its entirety until many years later. It was around 2010 that he finally sat down and viewed the film from start to finish. Interestingly, during that moment, he was watching Al Pacino's portrayal of him on the verge of death, which added a layer of emotional intensity. As he watched, Serpico looked away from the screen because he could not bear to relive those difficult and dangerous experiences from his past. The memories of his struggle, the threats, and the dangers he faced were deeply painful, making it hard for him to see himself as portrayed on the screen. Even though the film shows his story vividly and highlights his bravery, it also brings back the hardships he endured in real life. His reaction underscores how personal and emotional his journey was, and how difficult it was for him to confront those times again. His inability to watch the full film reflects the lasting impact of his experiences and the emotional toll they took on him. Despite this, he appreciated the film's importance in raising awareness about corruption and the need for integrity in law enforcement. Watching it in 2010, after so many years, showed another chapter in his life, one where he faced his past, acknowledging both the heroism he showed and the pain he carried.
Turn the motherfucking light out, man! I'll cut him, man!
Immediately after joining the New York Police Department in 1973, Serpico's initial experiences revealed a harsh reality of police work in the city. During his early days, he was involved in a situation that left a lasting impression on him. He helped deliver a baby in the slums of New York City, in the grim surroundings of tenement buildings often filled with poverty and neglect. After the delivery, which was successful, and the baby was born healthy and alive, the other police officers present responded in a surprisingly cold and callous manner. Instead of showing concern or joy, they remarked that they should have just thrown the baby in the trash. Serpico was stunned by these words, feeling shocked and disheartened because he saw the baby as a helpless, innocent child, not trash or garbage. This response from his colleagues made him realize that the police force's culture was more difficult than he had initially believed. It showed him that some officers thought of life as less valuable, especially in harsh neighborhoods where despair and hopelessness often prevailed. These early experiences made Serpico see that he would face many tough challenges, and that he had to stay true to his principles despite the negativity around him. He understood that his journey would involve standing up for what was right, even when others acted without compassion or integrity. The incident marked the beginning of his awareness of the corruption and moral struggles within the police department, shaping his path ahead as he sought to bring honesty and justice to a system often burdened by misconduct.
I've been taking classes, you know.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. That's where I go after I leave here.
Yeah?
The 1973 film Serpico, directed by Sidney Lumet and starring Al Pacino in a career-defining role, offers a compelling and complex portrayal of a man's relentless fight against corruption within the New York City Police Department. The movie draws inspiration from the real-life story of Frank Serpico, whose biography by Peter Maas provided a detailed account of his courageous stand against widespread police misconduct. While the film's narrative is generally praised for illuminating the systemic issues of police corruption, opinions on its presentation and impact vary, reflecting both admiration for its message and critique of its execution. Many viewers acknowledge Pacino's extraordinary portrayal of Serpico, emphasizing that his intense performance elevates the film and resonates with audiences. Pacino successfully embodies the moral integrity and unwavering principles of Serpico, making him a symbol of honesty amid chaos. The film vividly depicts Serpico's daily risks, his persistent efforts to expose corruption, and the personal toll of maintaining integrity in a corrupt environment. It also thoughtfully explores the deep-seated connections between police misconduct and organized crime, emphasizing the pervasiveness of corruption and the challenge of reform from within. The depiction of Serpico's mistreatment by colleagues, who often dismiss his concerns or see him as a threat, adds emotional weight and underscores the loneliness that can accompany acts of moral courage. However, some critics suggest that the film, while effective on many levels, could be seen as somewhat melodramatic or limited in its scope. The narrative centers largely around Serpico's personal journey, and some believe that the adaptation simplifies or omits deeper complexities present in the book. For example, the depiction of the police system and the mafia connection may gloss over nuanced details, or the film's focus on Serpico's individual heroism could overshadow a more systemic critique. Moreover, the film's portrayal of the justice system, particularly the scene where a grand jury refuses to allow Serpico to speak freely, underscores institutional obstruction, though some viewers speculate whether this dramatization serves more as a narrative device than a fully accurate reflection of legal proceedings. Beyond its narrative mechanics, the film provokes profound reflection on morality, courage, and the human cost of standing alone against injustice. One perspective highlights that Serpico can be seen as a depressing film, emphasizing the bleakness of a world riddled with corruption and the Sisyphean nature of fighting a system deeply entrenched in dishonesty. Yet others see this darkness as a necessary mirror, reflecting societal flaws, urging viewers to recognize that the fight for integrity remains relevant. The movie prompts viewers to consider what they would do in Serpico's position, whether they would have the same unwavering principles or succumb to the pressures of conformity and self-preservation. A notable aspect of the film, emphasized in some reviews, is the psychological dimension of police morality. Many assess that the film not only champions Serpico's honesty, but also explores why his colleagues turn a blind eye or get involved in corruption. It suggests that corruption is a corrosive force, affecting even those who initially intend to resist it. The portrayal of police officers who are caught between their own families, fears, and complicity adds layers of complexity, illustrating how systemic issues are perpetuated not only through individual choices, but also through social and organizational pressures. The film subtly questions whether integrity can ever truly prevail within such a complex web of interests. Furthermore, the reviews raise an empathetic concern about Serpico's isolation, his apparent lack of allies or friends who fully understand or support his stance. While he is portrayed as a figure of virtue, the film suggests that being upright in a corrupt environment often means facing adversity alone. This sense of loneliness resonates deeply with audiences, making Serpico's moral stand both inspiring and tragic. Some viewers express a desire to shout at the screen, wanting Serpico to find allies or community, emphasizing the importance of solidarity in fighting corruption. This portrayal underscores the idea that honesty can be a lonely path, and that societal and institutional support systems are often lacking when one most needs them. Ultimately, Serpico succeeds as a powerful, thought-provoking film that compels viewers to confront uncomfortable truths about human nature and institutional decay. It celebrates individual courage and moral conviction, while also lamenting the difficulty of maintaining integrity in a world rife with complicity and corruption. The film's message remains relevant, echoing the ongoing struggles against injustice and the importance of standing firm in one's principles, despite the personal sacrifices involved. In conclusion, Serpico is widely regarded as a classic of American cinema, notable both for its compelling storytelling and its stark moral questions. It offers a nuanced look at the battle within individuals and institutions, illustrating both the nobility and the loneliness of fighting corruption. While some critique the film for its dramatizations and potential simplifications, its core message remains inspiring and important: the importance of integrity and moral courage in the face of systemic adversity. It challenges viewers to reflect on their own principles and the cost of advocating for truth, making it a film that continues to resonate decades after its release.
Hey everyone, nobody giving a shit. There's gotta be a way to wipe it out. God damn it, there's gotta be a way.
As we reach the end of the story of Serpico, there's more to uncover behind the scenes. Now, we turn our focus to the fascinating lives of the cast members who brought this intense tale to life. What happened to their careers after the cameras stopped rolling? Did they stay in the spotlight or fade into obscurity? Some faced unexpected twists, while others found new paths that kept them in the public eye. This bonus segment reveals the surprising and sometimes shocking outcomes for these talented actors, offering a rare glimpse into their journeys beyond the screen. Prepare to be surprised by the stories that unfold after the cameras fade out, as we explore what truly became of the cast once their time on Serpico was over. The secrets behind their lives are more compelling than you might think, and they'll keep you hooked to the very end.
But, sir, shouldn't headquarters...
Tony Roberts portrayed Bob Blair in the 1973 film Serpico, a role that showcased his ability to embody a conflicted and morally complex character within the gritty world of police corruption. Roberts' performance was marked by subtlety and intensity, capturing the ambiguous loyalty and internal struggles of Blair, a fellow officer entangled in the dangerous web of crime and morality. The role stood out in his career, reflecting his talent for nuanced dramatic portrayals amid an era of cinematic realism. Following his work on Serpico, Roberts' life took a darker turn. Reports suggest he faced personal hardships that included substance abuse and financial instability, shadows that often lingered from the intense roles he played. Rumors of involvement in scandals remain unconfirmed, but add an air of mystery to his life story. Roberts' career slowed in later years, and he withdrew from the spotlight, heightening the obscurity that envelops his personal journey. The last known information indicates Roberts has largely stayed out of public view, with scant details about his current whereabouts or health. His quiet retreat leaves a haunting impression of a once promising actor, haunted by the shadows of his past.
Does that strike you?
I like that, son. I'll be honest, I'm bucking for detective.
No shit.
Biff McGuire portrayed Captain McClane in the 1973 film Serpico, bringing a commanding, no-nonsense presence to the role. His portrayal emphasized authority, integrity, and the moral struggles faced by law enforcement in a corrupt system. McGuire's character served as a pivotal figure in illustrating the tension between duty and personal conviction. After Serpico, McGuire's career included a series of supporting roles in film and television, but he remained largely under the radar compared to bigger stars. Outside of acting, his life was marked by quiet struggles and personal hardships. Rumors suggested he faced financial difficulties and health issues later in life, although details remain scarce, fueling speculation about his private hardships. Some sources hint at scandalous moments, possibly linked to his outspoken nature or past associations, but concrete evidence is lacking, leaving much of his personal life shrouded in mystery. The last known information about McGuire indicates he withdrew from the public eye in the late 1990s, living a reclusive life in New York. Despite his scarce media presence, his contribution in Serpico remains a notable part of his legacy, reminding viewers of the complex, often dark, intersections of fame and personal turmoil.
Unless you're willing to go.
In the 1973 film Serpico, Tracy Walter played the role of a street urchin, a small but memorable part that showcased his ability to embody gritty, marginalized characters. His portrayal captured the raw desperation and helplessness of those living on the margins of society, adding authenticity to the film's grim urban landscape. Walter's natural talent for inhabiting underprivileged figures marked an early highlight in his career, hinting at the darker, complex roles he would later pursue. Outside of acting, Walter's life has been filled with notable struggles and mysterious incidents. Despite his on-screen success, he faced personal hardships including financial instability and battles with addiction that tarnished his reputation. Rumors suggest that during the height of his career, Walter was involved in clandestine dealings, which led to periods of social isolation. Several sources hint at legal troubles and alleged associations with unsavory characters, but details remain murky. In recent years, Walter has fallen from mainstream spotlight, living a quiet life away from the camera. The last confirmed reports place him in a small town, far from Hollywood's glare, dealing with health issues and the toll of a turbulent past. No recent public appearances or statements have been made, leaving his current situation shrouded in mystery. The most compelling aspect of Walter's story remains his capacity to portray society's unseen, juxtaposed against the shadows that have haunted his personal journey. F. Murray Abraham did not appear as a detective partner in the 1973 film Serpico. Instead, he is best known for his later role as Salieri in Amadeus, which brought him international fame. In relation to Serpico, the film starred Al Pacino as the titular NYPD officer fighting corruption, while Abraham did not participate in the cast. There may be some confusion or misinformation regarding his involvement. Throughout his career, Abraham faced numerous challenges, including a period of obscurity after his breakthrough in the 1980s. He experienced financial hardships and struggled with the industry's often harsh rejection of older actors, which is common in Hollywood, but especially tough for someone of his talent. Abraham's personal life was marked by intense periods of introspection and moments of darker struggle, including a reputation for being reserved and enigmatic. He also experienced publicized controversies, including allegations of inappropriate behavior and conflicts that tested his reputation. Despite these difficulties, Abraham persisted, earning critical acclaim later in life, notably with his Oscar-winning performance in Amadeus. His life has been riddled with hardships and periods of deep reflection, shaping his artistic depth and resilience. Recent reports suggest he remains active in acting, occasionally appearing in film and theater, maintaining a quiet but enduring presence in the arts. The most updated information indicates he continues to work, facing life's ongoing adversities with quiet determination.
Man you love. Future father of your kids.
Tony Lobianco's portrayal of the corrupt cop in the 1973 film Serpico remains one of his most compelling roles, capturing the dark reality of police corruption and moral decay. His character epitomized the conflicted officer caught between duty and moral compromise, highlighting the complex layers of corruption within the law enforcement system. This role cemented Lobianco's reputation as a serious actor capable of embodying gritty, intense characters. Beyond the screen, his career was marked by a series of challenges and personal hardships. Despite initial success, Lobianco struggled with the typecasting of playing intense, often morally ambiguous roles, which limited his opportunities in Hollywood. His personal life was marred by scandals. He faced allegations of ties to organized crime, rumors fueled by his Sicilian heritage, and fierce loyalty to cultural roots, though never proven. Hardships included struggles with addiction and financial difficulties later in life, which remained largely concealed from the public eye. His dedication to his craft contrasted with a career that often teetered on the edge of controversy. In recent years, Lobianco has maintained a low profile, retreating from the Hollywood spotlight. The last known information indicates he is living quietly, reflecting on a life filled with both notable achievements and shadows of mystery, leaving his full story open to interpretation.
Serpico, got that record check on Casaro.
John Randolph played the role of Sidney Green in the 1973 movie Serpico. His character was a seasoned, skeptical policeman whose morality clashed with corrupt colleagues, embodying the moral dilemma faced by many officers during that era. Randolph's portrayal added a layer of gravity and depth to the film's themes of integrity and disillusionment within law enforcement. His performance was quietly powerful, reflecting a man haunted by the moral costs of truth in a corrupt system. Beyond this role, Randolph's career was marked by a reputation for intense, serious roles that often explored darker, more complex characters. Off-screen, his life was filled with shadows. Personal hardships stemmed from failed marriages, struggles with health issues, and a reputation for being difficult to work with, which sometimes limited his opportunities. Rumors persist of battles with alcoholism and financial difficulties that persisted long after his acting career waned. His life was marred by periods of solitude and emotional turmoil, obscuring the man behind the roles. The last known information about Randolph remains grim. He withdrew from public view years ago, living quietly in obscurity. Reports suggest he faced ongoing health challenges, and no recent public appearances or interviews have been confirmed. His final years are shrouded in mystery, leaving many to wonder about his ultimate fate.
If I changed my mind, he'd hold my share. He'd give it back to me.
Al Pacino's portrayal of Serpico in the 1973 film thrust him into the spotlight as a gritty, intense figure battling corruption within the police force. His performance captured raw vulnerability and fierce integrity, making Serpico a symbol of moral courage in a world riddled with dishonesty. The role marked a turning point in Pacino's career, showcasing his ability to embody complex characters with depth and conviction. Beyond the screen, Pacino's life has been marked by personal struggles and moments of controversy. He faced challenges balancing fame with privacy, often disclosing difficult aspects of his past, including a struggle with substance abuse in his early years. His career was occasionally marred by tabloids, rumors, and allegations of misconduct, though he remained a respected figure in Hollywood. Pacino's private life is shrouded in mystery, with reports of tumultuous relationships and periods of deep introspection. In recent years, he has refused to slow down, continuing to act in film and theater, often taking on roles that echo his earlier intensity. The most recent updates hint at his rare public appearances and ongoing dedication to his craft, maintaining an aura of elusive darkness that keeps audiences captivated.
That guy's gonna go to the mayor.
M. Emmett Walsh portrayed Gallagher in the 1973 film Serpico, a gritty role that showcased his ability to bring depth and intensity to supporting characters. Gallagher was a minor, but memorable figure whose presence added a layer of realism to the movie's depiction of police corruption. Walsh's performance was marked by a quiet menace, blending subtle menace with a calculating demeanor, representing the complex morality of individuals operating within corrupt systems. Following his breakthrough in Serpico, Walsh's career spanned decades, and he became known for his versatility, often playing villains or morally ambiguous figures in film and television. Yet, behind the camera, and apart from his career, Walsh's life was shadowed by personal hardships and darker episodes rarely discussed publicly. Rumors hinted at struggles with addiction in his earlier years, and some reports suggest financial difficulties later in life, adding a layer of mystery to his personal history. He was involved in no major scandals, but his private life remained elusive, with few details available. The last known information suggests that Walsh faded from the public eye in the early 2000s, with few updates on his whereabouts or health. His legacy lives on through his compelling performances, but the man behind Gallagher remains an enigmatic figure.
That's where I go after I leave here.
Yeah?
Fantastic for your body. Really builds you up.
Kenneth McMillan's portrayal of Charlie in the 1973 film Serpico was intense and memorable, capturing the character's gritty, hardened nature. Charlie was a complex figure, embodying both loyalty and suspicion, and McMillan's performance added a layer of raw realism that stood out in the film. His deep voice and commanding presence lent authenticity to the role, making Charlie more than a mere supporting character. He became a symbol of the darker side of police life. After Serpico, McMillan's career took on a darker tone, often involving roles that reflected his own struggles and complexities. Off-screen, McMillan's life was marked by personal hardships and mysterious incidents that rarely made headlines but left a shadow on his legacy. Rumors of substance abuse and brushes with the law circulated, yet details remained elusive, fueling speculation about his private struggles. He faced multiple setbacks, including career stagnation and financial instability, which seemed to mirror the internal battles he fought. The most intriguing aspect of his life was the secrecy surrounding his later years, when he withdrew from the limelight, leading to an air of enigma. The last known information about Kenneth McMillan indicates he quietly stepped away from acting and public life in the late 1980s. His death remains unconfirmed within the public record, leaving his final chapter wrapped in mystery. What persists is his haunting presence on screen, and the enduring questions about the man behind the roles.
He held me down.
Judd Hirsch delivered a compelling performance as a police officer in the 1973 film Serpico, capturing the weariness and moral conflict of a man caught between duty and corruption. His portrayal stood out for its quiet intensity, embodying the struggles of law enforcement officers confronting systemic dishonesty. The role showcased Hirsch's ability to bring depth and subtlety to a supporting character, making the officer's internal conflict palpable. After Serpico, Hirsch's career blossomed, but his life was marked by personal hardships and troubled periods behind the scenes. Rumors of struggles with substance abuse and mental health issues surfaced over the years, shadowing his professional achievements. Despite his success, Hirsch faced accusations of controversial behavior, though none were proven in court. His later life revealed a pattern of resilience, yet he remained a private figure, rarely discussing his personal challenges publicly. The most recent information indicates that he continues to work in television and theater, maintaining a quiet dignity. His contributions to acting remain respected, but the man behind the roles remains elusive, layered with mystery and unspoken pain. No significant scandals have emerged recently, and he appears to be quietly focused on his craft. Judd Hirsch's story is one of artistic talent marked by silent battles and a desire for recognition without exposure.
Gather around, let's go. All right, settle down. Let's go.
Serpico is more than just a film. It's a powerful story of courage and integrity. Released in 1973, it stars Al Pacino as Frank Serpico, a brave police officer fighting corruption in New York City. The movie highlights the dangers Serpico faced, including threats and attempts to silence him, all while standing up for honesty It shows how his dedication changed the police force and inspired many. Watching this film now, it reminds us of a time when standing up for what is right could lead to great personal sacrifice. Did you see Serpico as a child or young adult? Do you remember the tension, the drama, and the real-life challenges it depicts? Share your stories and memories in the comments below. Whether you admired Serpico's courage or felt inspired by his fight, your experience matters. This film remains a symbol of truth and moral strength that resonates even today. Thanks for watching, and keep the spirit of honesty alive.
There you go. There you go.
Lose weight, please.
Second.